Okay, for this video we're having a look at the multiple choice feedback for the mid-course examination for 2016's ancient paper. The first question was which of the following best reflects what can be concluded from the information in source A, which was a whole list of examples of electoral slogans. So we had ADILs were elected annually and were afforded judicial powers. ADILs oversaw maintenance of streets and sponsored games and entertainment. ADILs could only be elected if they had the support of their neighbours. ADILs were supported in their electoral campaign by family members and clients. So in this question here, this was a really hard question. This is a Band 6 question. All of these are technically correct. However, they're not all supported by what's in the source. And that's where the differences come in here. So let's have a look at the sources here. We'll scroll up to source A. So let's have a look here and we'll test each one against the source. So ADILs were elected annually and afforded judicial powers. Well, we have reference here of judicial powers, but nowhere in the source here do we have reference to the fact that they were elected annually. We have that they're elected, but not anything to do with annually. So based on that part here, elected annually, or cannot be concluded from the source. Therefore, A is incorrect. Now we have to look at B. ADILs oversaw maintenance of streets and sponsored games and entertainment. Let's have a look at this. Well, we have reference to public roads, charge of streets, and we have sacred and public buildings. So this is really the only one here, and this part here talking about judicial power, where they're referring to the role of ADILs or Dulmirs, and in this case we're talking about ADILs. So we have references to streets, but we don't have any references to sponsored games and entertainment, so that cannot be concluded from the information in source A. Therefore, B is wrong. So C, ADILs could only be elected if they had the support of their neighbours. Well, if we try and compare that to the source, that becomes challenging too. We have reference here to neighbours in a couple of the sources. At least one of the sources references so-and-so and his neighbours. So here we go. His neighbours asked for Helvius Sabinius, an honest man as ADIL. However, we have plenty of these here, if we're just looking at the source, that don't reference neighbours. We have client. We have a freedman, who would clearly be the freedman of Publius. So therefore we have other groups. We have a colleague, we have the chicken keepers, which is a guild. So we have lots of examples that aren't neighbours, that have different relationships. So that one can't be concluded as being correct. And finally, D, we have ADILs were supported in their electoral campaign by family members and clients. This is what makes it a Band 6 question, because when you are a freedman, you automatically become a part of the of that Roman, the person who owned you previously. You become a part of his familia, as their family, part of their kind of extended family. So we have here ADILs are supported by electoral campaign by family members and clients. We've already seen references to clients here, Thalamus, his client, and then we have reference here in the second line here to Serratus, freedman. So the fact that he's the freedman, presumably of Publius, therefore we could say that is the correct answer, because Serratus, being a freedman of Publius, therefore is now part of his familia or his family, and therefore he's supporting him as a part of his family in that role or in his election. So D is the correct answer there, but that is a very, very challenging question. Second question, considering the following statements, interpreting the information in source A. So we have two statements here that we need to test. Papilio is campaigning on behalf of candidate for ADIL, and B, a candidate's character was an important factor in consideration considered by voters. So let's test both there. Let's find Papilio. So we have Papilio writing this, and we have Amarantus Pompeianus asked you to elect Quintus Postumius Proculus ADIL. And then at the end we have Papilio wrote this. So the wrote this is actually referring to his role as the scribe for this campaign slogan or graffiti, not the fact that he's campaigning. The person who's actually campaigning is this man here, Amarantus Pompeianus. Okay, so he's the one who's campaigning. Papilio is a sign writer. So we need to know that. So therefore we can say that statement A is incorrect. So therefore, by knowing statement A is incorrect, then we know that B and C are the only options that could be correct. Okay, So because it can't be both statements, we know that it could be D could be correct, sorry, or B could be correct. So we can narrow it down by a process of elimination. The next statement was a candidate's character was an important factor considered by voters. We have examples here of worthy of public office, a good man, and we have an honest man. And they're good character traits, so therefore statement B is correct, statement A is incorrect, therefore the correct answer here is B, only statement B is correct. Moving forward, question 3, which of the following is the most accurate conclusion that can be drawn from source B? This was really a mathematical one and a source interpretation one more than an historical one, but I wanted to put it in to show you the kinds of questions you could be asked. We have bar chart, which shows half monthly distributions of games. So this is what I think brought some people unstuck. We have, we can see here, April, the first half, April, the second half. So we're really seeing a fortnight's worth of games in each of these bars here. That's how it's broken up, and that I think is what threw people. You didn't add the two together. So let's have a look. May was a month when most games were held in Pompeii. The white is Pompeii, the grey is anywhere else in the region. Okay, so we're at May here. We have the white, that's 10 games held in Pompeii in the first half of May. The second half of May we have 12. Okay, let's have a look at this month here. April we have 8 and 4, which is 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, sorry, that's not correct. We have, and this is how easy it is to get it wrong. We have March, we have 4. There's first half of March, second half of the month. April, we have 8, and 2 is 10. Over here, we have November, we have none in the first half, and in the second half, we have 11. So the month where we have the most games for Pompeii is May. So we already know that's the correct answer. Now let's have a look at B, C, and D and test that they're all wrong. So more games were held in the second half of the year than the first. This is easy because it doesn't differentiate between games held in Pompeii and games outside of Pompeii. Here's the first half of the year everywhere to this side. Here is the second half of the year. Visually, we can see straight away that there are far more games in this first half of the year than there are in this second half of the year. So therefore, B is wrong. C, the first quarter of the year saw the least number of games. So we're looking at quarters of the year, which is really January, February, and March, and then following on. So January, February, and March, okay, we need to add up all the games here because we want to see that the first quarter saw the least number of games. So the first quarter, January, February, March, we have 8 games, 9, 10 games, 11, 12, 13, 14 games. Okay, is there another quarter of the year where there are fewer than 14 games? Let's check. So we've got January, February, March, April, May, and June is the next quarter, and we can see they've got lots of games, so we can't use that one. So let's check July, August, and September. July, August, September, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that would prove that the first quarter of the year does not have the least number of games held, if that makes sense, because there is the third quarter of the year has fewer games held than the first quarter, so C is not right. D, in the last quarter of the year, more games were held outside of Pompeii than in Pompeii. So the last quarter of the year is October, November, and December. We have in Pompeii 11 games held. Outside Pompeii, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 is less than 11, so there are more games held in Pompeii than outside of Pompeii, so that is incorrect. Therefore, that is proven that the correct answer here is A. Moving forward, question 4, what's the name of the building labelled with a red star in source C? We just need to know this, okay? We should know the amphitheatre is round, complete circle. This is only half, okay? Seeing 2 next to each other should indicate that this is a theatre, and knowing that the small theatre is called the Odeon or the small theatre and the large theatre is called the theatre, we should be able to identify that the correct answer here is C, Odeon. Last question, which of the following is the name given to the table of weights and measures located in Pompeii's forum? We've got 4 options here. Some of these are terms you might have seen before, like Collegium Augustilium. That's the college of priests of the Augustalis. So when you hear people referred to as Augustalis, that's a priest, and that's what this is, so we should know that that's not right. Medea Cavea, that's a place where only men can sit in the theatre, so seating reserved for men only. Pater Patria is a term we'll look at when we look at Augustus, in our next topic, and that's a term that means father of the country. So it's none of those. Mensa ponderaria is the correct answer there, which is the table of weights and measures, which is why I included that one, is to make sure that you understood that you could be asked on just key terminology as a part of your answers as well.